Elves, oh elves, probably my least favorite faction, for a very simple reason. For me, they are very one-dimensional, in most matchups. Most units have no big strengths or weaknesses, which for me makes them bland, tasteless, yet at the same time makes them good for new players, as in most cases what they do is just not bad. There is only one unit that has meaningfully different resistances, Woos. Yet this unit is not present in most matchups due to its weaknesses, and on the other hand, can crush matchups it is good in if it is not outplayed well. This highlights yet another problem. Rebels have much more than most other factions predetermined recruits, and the choice is somewhat shallow. Obviously, Scout for scouting, Merman for water, Mage for pushes, Shaman if you want, or enemy got strong level ups. Woos if matchup is good, Fighter always, and Archer if needed. Shaman is not that often recruited, not because it's bad, it's just often better to have more damage, but in case of particularly strong enemies, it is worth it. For example, Woos would be amazing snow target that really only leaves Archer as a choice. And for me, that is not a lot. Basically everything they do is dependent on the enemies. Unlike loyalists, who have to choose between horseman, cavalryman, fencer, heavy infantryman, mage, or even spearman versus undead. As an example of matchup that is interesting from recruitment step. So let's get to their units. Fighter, the backbone of every elvish army, generally very good reliable unit that can be used in every matchup, sometimes alone, which is the reason I don't exactly appreciate elves. Elvish Archer, actually unit that I like, high variance, nice mobility, ranged 70% forest defense, with resilient strong traits, it is really tanky on average on forest tiles, surpassing fighter average durability at the cost of randomness. With its quick, it is really nice to maneuver, and Dex gives it a lot of damage. Really nice unit, however not as versatile as fighter, and I wouldn't recommend them everywhere. Elvish Scout, a hybrid melee and ranged with great mobility, a good unit. 9 MP is very nice, highest MP among scouts on level 1, best view range. 18G is not on the cheaper side, but it really is worth it. Shaman, a counter to elite and higher level units. Slow is situational, but good special. Its performance against standard units is average, but still not bad, and of course always good healing. Mage, a standard mage that is a bit worse because it can't face Woos, as it is in the same faction. Merman Hunter, water unit, not exceptional, heavily buffed over the years, so right now it's in alright state. Finally Woos, the exceptional unit of this faction, really useful against pierce and impact damage, and against units weak to impact. It is slow, but can ambush, which can give you a strong advantage, but we will talk more about it in specific matchups. So, to the matchups. Drakes, this one is actually somewhat interesting. While fighter is usually main part of the army, anyway, depending on the map, archers might take significant chunk of it as well, and striking the correct proportions might be tricky. Woos is not advised in this matchup. Mage is highly situational as it can't do much against drakes, and is needed mostly against Saurians. Shaman is fine in this matchup, but as always you should use it depending on your own taste. Merman Hunter is favored to dominate waters in this matchup, while Glider and Scout do perform similarly well with, in my opinion, slight advantage for the scout. Nalgan Alliance. Here, fighter is your best friend. A lot of elf units is ulfable. Shaman, Merman, Archer, if not on Forest. Scout often as well, not to mention Mage. Speaking of which, it is probably second most needed unit, or perhaps third after Scout, because pushing without it will be tough. Shaman has few good targets, but also some quiet bad ones, and perhaps more importantly, it is a very good target for Ulf. Water in this case seems to be better for Dwarf, as Griffon is really quite good there, and also overall more versatile. Griffon can also deal well with Scouts, but until there is a Griffon, Scout should be hard to get rid of, if not caught, and same goes for Merman in water. Loyalists. For the first time, Woos is quite needed, as fighter alone might not be enough to hold the line, turning the matchup into softer version of versus Undead for both factions actually, where Loyalists need to get a lot of blade and fire damage, which often comes in form of cavalrymen, and Elves a lot of Woos with some archer fighter support. Water is more or less even, but I do favor fighter over hunter slightly. Orcs. It is simple matchup. Many fighters, occasionally archer, maybe, but I just prefer lots and lots of fighters. Woos is generally countered, shaman might be good, but orc units usually are cheap, and also slow provides less value overall, and some slows are quite risky, for example against assassin. Scout is also quite good at holding flanks here, but again I do prefer Naga over Merman Hunter when it comes to water. Lastly, Undead. Here, once you see them, you want to just reach critical mass of Woos and beat them this way, with some mages for final push. Problem is reaching there. It is kinda hard to just defend against Undead until you have that critical mass of Woos. And for that, fighters and perhaps shamans are very good units. Both Merman and Scout will do well versus boss, but not so well against Ghost, in which case you really need that earlier mage. That would be it for this time. I hope you liked it, and I will see you next time. Bye.